listings, SpaceX's blockbuster IPO may prove to be the largest on record, with the company seeking valuations near $2 trillion. That listing set to fuel the IPO market with OpenAI, Anthropic. They're also waiting in the wings. It's also said to be a boon for the space industry more widely. For more, we've got Yahoo Finance's Pras Subramanian joining me now for how normal humans who don't necessarily have the inside track can get in and actually get shares of this company.
Well, yeah, ahead of the actual IPO, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of the critical the question that was asked, So yes, there's a lot of heavy interest here in SpaceX, and a lot of people are saying, hey, how do I get in before the big massive bump when we see the actual stock IPO and potentially in June? So you're seeing this. You mentioned 30% allocation potentially for retail investors, so a lot of interest there, right? So the question is, how do you get involved with it now? And there's three kind of major ways to do it. So the first one is through secondary markets, right? So these are transactions that a third party kind of facilitates, where employees or early investors can take their vested shares and go to this marketplace, find buyers like accredited investors, and you can use the platform to buy those shares. But you're also sort of subject to lockup periods that would happen post IPO, like regular insiders, right? So you can also, the second option is also through an SPV or a special purpose vehicle, where you kind of get lumped into a fund where they have a mix of common and preferred shares. Perhaps you put money in and you have sort of a liquidity event when the actual IPO happens and they can sell those shares. You get some money. In some cases, these SPVs will actually provide actual shares, but that's usually not the case. And there's also heavy fees involved with that as well. And lastly, there's stuff like ETFs and mutual funds, not pure direct access, but you get some exposure. Fidelity's Contra Fund is a big granddaddy of growth investing. That they have a pretty sizable SpaceX investment. So does Barron Partners Fund, right? The big Ron Barron, huge Elon Musk guy. Also, you have ETFs, right? Like Procure is offering ticker UFO that has some direct access to SpaceX stock.
So it seems like there's a decent number of ways, Pras. What are the sort of like rules of thumb or cautions or things that people need to be aware of if they are getting a hold of these shares?
I spoke to Professor Jay Ritter, who's at the University of Florida, known as Mr. IPO, has an IPO institute there. And he said one of the biggest concerns is the fact that, at this stage, even in the pre-IPO stage, SpaceX stock is it's in very high demand. So you may not be getting the best price right now. And so it's one of these things where you have to really evaluate and think to yourself, do I really want to get in right now?